my name is Mikayla Trujillo. I'm a program coordinator with UNM Project ECHO under a hepatitis C prison elimination program. So I grew up here in Albuquerque, and by the time I was 17 years old, I was diagnosed with substance use disorder, and opiates were my drug of choice. So I didn't really complete a lot of normal milestones. So instead of like graduating high school, I graduated rehab, and instead of going to prom, I went to treatment centers and things like that. So from there, I had tried a couple different avenues for recovery. I tried medicated assisted treatment, Suboxone and methadone. My mom passed away in 2014, and that was really the time where that was the only person that I was accountable to. That was the only one who I cared what they thought. And so after about 6 months after she passed away, I kind of hit a new depth of low. And I started using meth and heroin. From there, I got a charge that involved a gun. Lots of wrong turns. After that, I was sentenced to the Department of Corrections in 2016. And that was almost like, it felt like a death sentence to me. Like 4 years felt like forever. And I quickly saw the environment that I was in. And I had, up until that point, I had thought that I was pretty badass and that I could, I could stand alone and do all these things. But then you're thrown into a controlled environment with people who have severe mental health issues, severe substance use issues. Some have support, some don't, and things get really rough in there. So I had a choice to continue to try to sell drugs while I was in prison, or to try to do something else. And so with the hopes of getting some of that time cut down, I stopped selling drugs. I went into an IOP program. And in order to do that program, even then, I had to make a decision to get off the psychotropic medications that they were prescribing me, just because I was so tired from that medication that I couldn't even get up to program. So I had made the decision to get off meds, which was actually the first step that I had made. And I think that was the best step, was to get off any kind of medication, sleeping meds, anxiety meds, all these things, in order to program with the goal of getting just 2 weeks taken off of my time. And through that program, I was able to explore some of the mental health issues that I was dealing with from adolescence all the way into my early 20s. And I completed that program. And after I completed that program, I started writing programs in the Department of Corrections. So one of the programs that I developed was a reentry curriculum for women to have a more stable foundation for their parole plan. Like nobody really, and I hadn't even paroled myself for the first time yet, but nobody really tells you what the expectations are, and you kind of really don't hear them because all you hear is I'm going home, right? So you don't know the difference between a program and a transitional house. Like a program, you're expected to get up 8 a.m. and do classes just as you would when you're incarcerated. A transitional house is, we don't care what you do, but you got to pay your rent and get a job and go to any meetings and don't get high. And so there's a little bit more information that needs to be shared to make an informed decision. It told me 5-6 years ago, when I was deep in my addiction, that I would be here at UNM using this experience to help others, and really kind of as a survival guide. I never would have believed you, but here we are. So recovery to me just means a new life. It means a second chance. It means letting go of all of the labels and judgment that people have put on you before, and being free. First and foremost, being free from addiction, being free from any kind of a mind altering substance, thinking for yourself, having a healthy mental health, um, being happy, experiencing life for what it is, like pure joy, not joy that any substance brought you, not the joy of getting away from committing a crime, but pure happiness that you can feel from your toes all the way to your head. Like just, you know, being around children, being around your family, being someone that someone else can depend on, being a role model for somebody else. These are all things that recovery, it wouldn't be possible without recovery. You would never be able to depend on me or call on me without it. Recovery is it's a blessing. That the world is such a bigger place than the world that they know now. And if they can take one baby step away from the darkness, then they're one giant leap into their future. And not to give up, that it's not going to be easy. It's never going to be easy. But it can be done. You can wake up in the morning and not be sick and not have any compulsion or any need or any want to do a drug again, but you have to heal from the inside out. You know, usually drug use is not, it's not because you want to become a drug addict. Nobody wants to become a drug addict. It's because of all of the other issues that were not resolved and were not listened to and were not heard in the past. And most of the trauma, most of adults' trauma occurs, you know, in their early stages of life. And so I would really encourage counseling and healing and to stop running from their problems. The problems, when you run from your problems, they only get bigger and they only go away temporarily. But there will always be a day when you have to face those problems. To be strong and to be brave and to sit and face those problems and then heal from them. And final thought is to forgive. Forgiveness is huge when entering early recovery, because that is usually the one thing that we try to hold on to, is all of the disrespect that has been done to us. And if we were to let that go, that's the first step of healing. So forgiving and healing.